Say what needs to be said. Big Deuce in the building. Welcome back to the show. How everybody doing out there today? Y'all come on in the chat. Y'all let me know y'all in the building. Let me know where y'all representing, what state, what city, what team, what you expect in the draft. And welcome back to the show. It's Thursday Night Vibes, baby, and we about to have a good time like we always do, baby. We're gonna turn up, we're gonna present y'all with some good energy, and hopefully it's contagious, and y'all feel that good energy, and y'all go out, take this energy throughout the weekend, and make the weekend the best of it. You know what I'm saying? That's how y'all rocking with me, and I'm rocking with y'all, baby. Say what needs to be said. The new slogan, you know what I mean, and that's gonna be the new tradition on the show. So tonight, what we getting into, baby? What's up, chat? How y'all doing? Yes, sir. 561 in the building. So what we getting into tonight, Chad? We're gonna get into the trade, man. You know, the trade, breaking news today. Dallas Cowboys made an official trade, and we got to talk about some DBs, some cornerbacks in the draft, man. The cornerbacks get lit. And what do I think about the cornerbacks in the draft? And we're gonna watch a little film, show a little videos and things like that, and we're gonna have a little fun. You feel me? So let's get into this thing. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Wow, look at that. And I don't know. A lot of us didn't expect that. Of course I didn't, man. Joe Milton is a extremely talented player, man. He's gonna have a bright future. But Patriots had to do what the Patriots do. You know what I mean? So let's get into it right here. I'll read. So it says the New England Patriots announced today that they traded quarterback Joe Milton the third to the Dallas Cowboys. Terms of the trade were not announced, but we all know that it was reported that it was a fifth round pick that he was traded for. So that's what's reported. Hopefully that's true. Milton 25 was drafted by the New England Patriots in the sixth round, 193rd overall of the 2024 NFL draft out of Tennessee. The 6'5", 246-pounder spent the majority of his years as a third string quarterback. 6'5", 246 pounds. That's a lot. That is a big guy, big talented guy, kind of like Josh Allen, you know what I mean? So what is going on? What does Pick Six think of this thing right here? What do I know? What do Big Deuce, Mr. Pick Six, think about this trade and the whole Joe Milton saga and things like that? But at the end of the day, man, Dallas Cowboys never seem to disappoint us in the offseason. Whether it's good news or bad news, they're going to keep it going. They're going to keep that news going. And Jerry Jones, we heard a couple of days ago or last week, Jerry Jones out here trying to get contracts done without the player's agent, i.e. Michael Parsons. He had the team completely mute during the free agency without any significant signings until now, which is Joe Milton, right? And but at the end of the day, I don't like this move for Joe Milton. Why? This man can play. I mean, he can flat out play. He hasn't had much opportunity playing, but from what I've seen, and if you know football, this young man can play. I'm talking about straight out raw talent. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Joe Milton. Shout out Joe Milton, man. The problem is him going to Dallas, in my opinion, is he will continue to be handled the same way unless some unfortunate injuries take place, and we know we all never want that to happen and things like that. And that's the only way he will be able to get out there and show his talent. But the only positive I see from this trade from Joe Milton is he finally gets to learn from an experienced quarterback. But it just so happens to be Dak Prescott. He was drafted in pretty much the same draft as Drake May. And who do you learn from? The blind leading the blind, two rookies or two younger quarterbacks in there trying to figure it out. And for me, where would I have rather Joe Milton go and have the best opportunity to showcase his talent, right? And I would rather it had been the Steelers who made that trade for Milton instead of the Dallas Cowboys. So if Milton goes to the Steelers, At least he has. Now listen, y'all hear me closely now. If Milton had a chance to go to the Steelers, he would have had a chance to learn from who? Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. Because if you don't think that's a done deal, Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers, man, y'all out here wilding out. Y'all are crazy. After seeing Aaron Rodgers tossing the football around with DJ Metcalf, you got to know it's 99.9% true, you know. And I think it's fair to assume that Rodgers. I think it's fair to assume that Rodgers wouldn't be out here connecting with DJ Metcalf for some leisure throwing time and just leisure catching activities because he's bored or they're in the same city or something like that. No, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. You know what I mean? And the way that Aaron Rodgers is handling this whole signing and what team he's going to pick, team he's going to pick. That's typical Aaron Rodgers fashion, man. That's his character, you know. And I can't understand Jerry Jones. Of course, they need a backup quarterback. Trey Lance, he wasn't even a backup quarterback. That was just a desperate move, in my opinion, you know. And at the end of the day, if Jerry Jones is willing to waste all this money he locked up with Dak Prescott to give Joe Milton a chance to take over and lead that franchise, I don't know what else to say. Is it possible? You know, that's embarrassing to the guys, the money men, the businessmen. They out here, they spending their bread, and when they spend their money on the wrong person, and then you bring somebody in that's not making clearly the amount of money that the one you just broke the bank on, that's embarrassing. You know what I mean? But hey, the older we get, the more we start to lose it. And Jerry Jones is definitely losing his wits and however he feel about himself as a general manager. But nothing surprises us or me anymore with the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. You know what I mean? But the secret about the trade, what you don't understand is the Patriots had to make this trade. Why? Because the Patriots didn't want to get exposed by Joe Milton. And why is that? Because Joe Milton would become a distraction for that team, for the Patriots teams, for the simple fact that he can play. He can straight out ball. And the fans would be calling for him to play. As soon as Drake May does something wrong or out of the ordinary or something nobody agrees with, they're going to be calling for Joe Milton. So in order for the distractions not to be a part of the team, we have to move you somewhere else, Joe Milton. You know, with all due respect, we love you as a talent, but timing is just not right. Timing has a lot to do with a lot of things in life, you know what I mean? And that's the unfortunate part about this business, NFL, that we play in, that we love, you know, the way it's ran, and we're unable to compete fairly at certain positions. And that depends on the cap number of that starter, right? If you have a starter in front of you who's a first rounder or has a high cap number, new contract, no matter what you do as the backup or the person trying to compete for that position, there is no chance. There's no chance you're getting out there. You know what I mean? And think about it. After all this hype, all these things was going on since last season when Joe Milton went out there against, what was it, Buffalo, was able to start, won the game, had an incredible game. After all that hype since that last game, he has been traded to Dallas Cowboys for only a 5th round pick. Is that a coincidence? You know, in my opinion, I think the Patriots, just like any team making a trade, they try to identify the team they felt comfortable trading Milton to, where he has the best chance not to shine, because they don't want him to shine. You know, Mike Vrabel, the head coach, and Elliott Wolf, which Mike Vrabel didn't have nothing to do with drafting Joe Milton. I'm sure that was the old staff and Elliott Wolf. I'm not sure if he was general manager last year, but whoever is the general manager, their job consists of bringing talent on the team, not getting rid of talent from the team. And their job is to make the decision who comes in and make this team better. And if you get rid of a player who can potentially make this team better, and he goes to make another team better, no one wants that to come back and bite them and hunt your team. So you try to pick the perfect place or the place where you think this athlete can't be that productive or make a difference to this team. And Yeah, so the Patriots had to pick a spot where they wouldn't make him look so bad, you know? And at the end of the day, somebody had to be the fall guy. If Joe Milton go over there to Dallas Cowboys or wherever he may land after he left Patriots and, was traded to the Cowboys, um, somebody had to be the fall guy. And I'm thinking it would be Elliott Wolf. Now, on the other hand, if Milton remained a Patriot, right, and he was forced in action and plays a lot better than Drake made, that becomes a problem instantly. You know what I mean? The nature of the business. When you're a 6th-round pick, there isn't much expectations for a 6th-round pick, 4th-round pick like myself. According to how the business model and the business is structured, the way the business is set up. And Drake May was the first-round pick with high expectations. That's just the nature of the business. You know what I mean? That sucks for Milton because he has a lot of freaking talent. Now, with all that being said, where is Jerry Jones going? Because there was a lot of speculations in the draft. It is hard for us to figure out who is going to land where. This is one of the most unsettling drafts we've been a part of, But we know, I guess Jerry Jones is trying to make this a tradition, trading for quarterbacks every year, And he just traded for Trey Lance last year. That didn't work out. Now, and Trey Lance never became the 2nd-string quarterback. Obviously, that didn't fit. He didn't fit the mold to be a the backup quarterback. But Joe Milton does, and now will Joe Milton be designated as the backup right off the bat? You know what I mean? Will Joe Milton be designated as the backup quarterback, and will the Cowboys give him a chance and all the opportunities he's supposed to have as a backup quarterback to go out there and succeed or move on and be labeled as a top backup? It's about labels and your brand in the NFL. And because Trey Lance, like I said, he was listed as a 3rd quarterback, and I don't know what's going on with him now. You know what I mean? But like I said, for Jerry Jones, Coach Sanders, Shedeur Sanders. It was some speculation and some possibility that Shedeur could possibly be a Cowboy. But I don't know. And does this mean the Cowboys are out as one of the teams to draft Shedeur Sanders? Does this mean that? You got Dak Prescott, then you got Joe Milton. It looks like the Cowboys will not be a team that will be drafting Shedeur Sanders, and that's unfortunate. A lot of people would love to see that, you know what I mean? That's what it just seems like. And I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like all these reports that are coming out of nowhere about Shedeur Sanders' stock dropping is kind of sounding true, right? Because if you follow what's been going on in free agency, all these signings and things like that, teams that need quarterbacks early on in the draft are starting to sign not one, but make sure they have 2 potential starting quarterbacks on their roster. And the Giants just signed 2 quarterbacks. Who they got? Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. And now the Cowboys have signed 2 quarterbacks, Dak Prescott, Joe Milton. The Patriots aren't looking to draft for quarterback. They have the 4th pick in the draft. Neither are the Panthers and the Jaguars. All these teams are in the top 10, right? And that only leaves the Tennessee Titans and Cleveland Browns and possibly the Raiders for teams that potentially can take a quarterback. And Shedeur Sanders only need that one team to draft him. Will it be the Browns? I don't know, man. The Browns general manager came out, and I think it's the general manager or the coach, one of them. They are just so infatuated with the idea of Travis Hunter. You know what I mean? But the closer we get to the draft, we should know who the number 1 pick will be. And usually the number 1 pick has a contract done a couple weeks before the draft. So once they get the number 1 pick out of the way, that may clear the path and give us a better understanding of how this draft may take place. You know what I mean? But I hope Shedeur Sanders' draft stock isn't dropping, because he's a really good talent. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see, man. But that would be crazy. If only 1 quarterback is drafted in the top 10 of this year's draft. That would be a little like, you know. How y'all doing out there, chat? What y'all feel about these Cowboys? Is another year the same old situation for the Cowboys? Will Joe Milton get an opportunity to go out there and showcase his talent? Because if he get out there, I agree with LaShawn McCoy. If Joe Milton gets out there, Dak Prescott is not getting that job back, man. And I really believe that guy can really play. He could throw, he could run, and he's big as crap, 6'5", 246 pounds. That means a lot, man. You can withstand a lot, and you can give a lot of bruises, you know, to the defensive side of the ball, help wear them down. You know what I mean? Shout out to the chat in the building. One time for the chat. So let's get into this, man. Next segment we're gonna cover tonight. We're gonna talk about the top 5 cornerbacks in this year's draft, right? And here we go right here. And starting off number 5, we're gonna come in with Benjamin Morrison. All right, Benjamin Morrison. We're gonna come back to that. But first, before we get into these prospects, right? As me evaluating this draft and going over the talents and things like that, this isn't a strong cornerback draft class compared to previous drafts in past years. But there are a few gems at cornerback in this year's draft who I feel can make an immediate impact with an NFL team. You know what I mean? And I think the Patriots are so-and-so locked for at the number 4 pick for Travis Hunter, so-and-so, you know what I mean? But if not, the Browns at number 2, you know, I don't know. But I don't see a cornerback being drafted or being taken until the 11th pick of the draft, which is the San Francisco 49ers after Travis Hunter's is selected. So if Travis Hunter goes number 2 or he goes number 4, there's not another cornerback that will be drafted, in my opinion, until maybe the 11th pick, which San Francisco 49ers hold, you know what I mean? Unless the Patriots decide to go another route, you know, then things get a little tricky. But I don't see Travis Hunter going past the Patriots, you know. Injuries this season hurt a lot of these college prospect cornerback stock and the opportunity for them to go come out and campaign this season as to get to be the top corner in the draft. You know what I mean? So a lot of cornerbacks were hurt, man, and missed a significant amount of time this season, you know. And there's a lack of depth for the quality of cornerbacks in this year's draft. So, like I said, let's jump right into it, man. Let's jump right into it. We're gonna get in here to it first. Right here, like I said, we got the young man, Benjamin Morrison at number 5. Benjamin Morrison at number 5, right? Benjamin Morrison. Now, this is one of those players I was talking about, right? Where he was injured and went down early. Now, if Benjamin Morrison didn't go down early with a hip injury, my list would be completely different because Benjamin Morrison would be fighting for that number 1 spot. Trust and believe, had he not faced a season-ending injury. You know, I think it happened like week 6. You know, his freshman season was crazy. He went crazy. He had like 6 interceptions, and he was showing his talent. His talent was on full display. You know, freshman, new rookie to the college football league, and nobody knows who he was, and boom, he was very exceptional out there, right? Now, I have no doubt in my mind that Benjamin Morrison, when healthy, when he get back healthy, he would be a game changer for somebody's team. He has great ball skills, and he is not afraid to get physical. He is a straight up ball hawk who loves to play press coverage. You will very rarely see him in off coverage. You will very rarely see him not in press coverage. He just loves to be in a wide receiver's face, you know what I mean? Unless it's long distance and long down the distance, of course, you got to play smart football. But no worries. Whenever he decides to play off coverage, he can still be elite. Let's check him out. Let's check him out here. Let's check him out. We don't got no sound, right? We don't got no sound. We don't got no sound on this. So that's him, number 20, right? He at the top of the screen with a little bell technique. Boom. Go get the ball. He has pretty good body control when the ball is in the air. And see, check him out. Really good ball control. The wide receivers pushing him off, and he goes and finds the ball. That's what one of those talents he has. Another press coverage, slant route, boom, drives on it, really good coverage. But the main thing I want to show, I want to go to get to is one of the last plays. We'll watch this one, then I'll fast forward. You know, he has good body control, always being in position to play the ball, you know, and limited penalties, you know. Look at them. They're fighting. Get a hand in there. All right, let's go into the end. All right, it's him at the top, bailing. Watch his eyes. Boom. Drive on the slant route. That's a good job. Eyes on the quarterback first. Look at him up top. Eyes on the quarterback. See the quarterback, 3-step drop, go drive. Drive on the ball, right? So that's Benjamin Morrison right there, man. Benjamin Morrison, man, right? Do you see when I just showed you the quick game where he drove on that slant route from the bail technique, right? And when there's a cornerback that understands the proper technique and knows how to read those quick game throws and those quick routes, 3-step drop from the quarterback, you know you have a special talent. And that's somebody you want on your team, you know. You have to know he is going to be a great player by watching this film, along with all the other talents, man. So hopefully Benjamin Morrison can come back full throttle, fully healthy, and back to his normal self. He didn't work out at the combine. They're waiting on this pro day to get all scheduled, and so he go out there and show his talent. But that kid right there is a freaking player, man. Shout out to Benjamin Morrison. Benjamin Morrison in the building. All right, coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 4. Can y'all guess? All right, we got Jahdae Barron. Jahdae Barron from the University of Texas, right? Let me tell you about Jahdae Barron. Jahdae Barron, he has the best T-step that I've seen out of all these top prospects when I'm evaluating the film. Jahdae Barron put his foot in the ground, and he gets to going when he's in the right position to do it, you know? But he's one of those players that he will find his way to the football eventually. He gets out leveraged from time to time in man coverage or just in route recognition and things like that, but he has a lot of talent. Now, in the right system, along with some good teaching, I see Barron as a hybrid defensive back, a defensive back that can play outside, inside, maybe safety. Maybe you need to bring him in as a smaller linebacker. You know, he's just a hybrid at that position. But his main position, like I'm gonna get into, will be the nickelback position. That's where he would thrive at most. You know what I mean? But I see him at the best when he is playing in zone coverage. When the team has dialed up a zone coverage, whether it's cover 2, cover 3, and he's able to use his instincts, that's when Jahdae Barron thrives the best, right? Barron is one of those players that needs the right team to draft him, right? He needs the right team to draft him so he can have an immediate impact, right? That's what he needs to help his success. He has some tools and talent, but he can't just go anywhere. He needs a team that can handle him right, groom him, and teach him the correct way, right? He is very physical, especially in zone coverage and cover 2, and he has good ball skills. In the running game, Barron takes the correct angles, and he comes down and attack the ball carrier. That's a plus for him. You know, like I said, being one of those hybrid type defensive backs, you have to be physical in the run. And he's probably the most physical cornerback out of the bunch, out of these top cornerbacks. So let's get into it. Let's check him out.
Down in the open.
Green bean casserole. I thought I knew you, Robert. That pass complete right near the first down marker, but Barron there to make
pressure. Now they rush 4. Ball out quickly, and it's juggled and intercepted. Jahdae Barron before halftime. Pitch on the sidelines, catch made, and they'll spend a timeout.
That he's faced in his career after that hot start. Going to dump it off to the fullback, Paulo, and he's knocked down to the back.
Yeah, like I said, as you can see, he's a very physical cornerback. He has a lot of more highlights and intercepts, a few more interceptions and a couple runbacks, but I wanted to show more physical play and just him eventually being able to get around the ball, and that's what you see. And what do I think about Jahdae Barron, right? I don't see him right off the bat starting out as an everyday, every down on the island type cornerback. He will get exposed early on in his career if that happens, in my opinion. Unless it's always possible. There's always a different side to everything. Now, unless the team that drafts him, if they need immediately help at cornerback, they ain't gonna have no choice to throw him out there. He will be a first or second round pick, right? I see him contributing immediately at the nickelback position, like I said, and that's where he will make his impact on the team, being that hybrid player, right? It's so many ways, in so many ways, nickelback is a lot tougher than playing cornerback or kind of anything on defense. Being trying to cover the wide receiver that's in the middle of the field that's off the ball, it makes the job a lot harder. You know, we might have a lot of short and in and out routes. You know, you got to chase the guy all around the field. But the difference is at nickelback that they have protection around them most of the time, from the left, right, behind them, so on and so forth, unless it's all out blitz, right? But the other part, like I said about a nickelback, they are responsible for run support in some defensive schemes. So, like I said, the right team draft Jahdae Barron. You know, he can be physical in the run support as a nickelback, just where they need him to be, like a Antonio Winfield. I don't know, some of these other physical nickelbacks, you know, back in the days. You know, now when you're on that island out there, it's totally different than being in a nickel with all that company around you and things like that. It gets real lonely out there, and we can't expect help. Even when we're supposed to have help, we can't expect it, because at the end of the day, if that help doesn't show up while we are covering our guy, the receiver, and the ball is caught and scored, or whatever happens, the perception will be, or tell everyone, that it was the corner's fault. No one is going to blame the person that was supposed to be there for the help. You know, it doesn't look like that. So as a cornerback, you know, my rule is, yeah, I know I got help, but I can't depend on help. I gotta always be in position to make plays, because the help may not be there, and I don't want to get blamed for it. Just a general concept. Now, when I know my help is going to be there, I'm going to use my help. You know what I mean? So, you know, shout out to Jahdae Barron coming in at number 4, right? So coming in at number 3. I don't know how many people heard of this guy, man. But he's from a smaller school. But we got Shavon Revel Jr. out of East Carolina, right? And this young man is very talented, right? He plays with good leverage and angles to attack the football and the player who is carrying the football. His range to get to the football is amazing. He can cover a lot of sideline to sideline. He's long, he's lanky, and he gets his hands on the ball, right? He has that speed, like I said, to close on the ball. And the thing about the way he take his angles and the way he close on the ball, he doesn't give the wide receiver or the opponent any opportunity for any yardage, yards after catch, right? So that's a good thing that you can build off of if you're a DB or a defensive coordinator, someone that's aggressive to the ball and aggressive to the ball carrier, and along with some other skills. But as far as the skills go, he is very fluent in his transition in and out of his breaks. The key knocks on him is he went to East Carolina, right? The competition at East Carolina isn't top competition. So the things he did against the competition he played is okay. But in the NFL, they look at your upside and your potential. And his potential is, you know, he has a lot of upside. He has speed. He's very linky. He can play press coverage good. But we got to see how that goes, man, because you just never know. But he was another one of those players that went down with an injury during the season, which limit him to a couple of games, right? He started off this season hot. He was on his way to having one of those breakout seasons, he already had like 2 interceptions in 2 games, and then he went down with the injury, and it cost him his season. So he definitely would have been another one of those guys who would have been up there, top 15, the top 20, had he not had to go down, and had he not went down with a season-ending injury. You know what I mean? So, um, Shavon Revel Jr., right? It's something about this kid, right? Because the people I talked to and everyone I heard from, it's like the scouts just love this guy. They are in love with him. And even though he didn't play against top competition, they just love with him, love his size, love his aura, love, I don't know. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he snuck up in the top 15, top 12, top 13, somewhere in there. And, the Ravens or somebody, obviously they don't have that pickup there. But like I said, I think Shavon Revel is a prime example of why this quarterback class is not so strong, with him being ranked so high. He doesn't have that much film out there. He only played a small amount of reps, at cornerback, and he's projected to be one of the top cornerbacks taken in the draft after a season-ending injury. So that lets you know the strength of this NFL draft when it comes to cornerbacks. You know what I mean? Now, we got coming in at number 2, baby. Now, these last 2 players, and of course, y'all know who number 1 is. These last 2 players really can play, right? They really can play the position cornerback. And where they are drafted at is going to establish that. You know what I mean? So coming in at number 2, we have the University of Michigan, Will Johnson. Let me tell you, Will Johnson, he will be a great addition to whoever drafts him in this 2025 draft. He is a product of Detroit, Michigan, same city where Sauce Gardner is from. So shout out to Sauce Gardner. They are producing some talent, some good athletes out there in the D. So we can't knock them for that. You know what I mean? Johnson will be one of those cornerbacks that will make an immediate impact when he is drafted in the first round of this coming up draft, right? He is a versatile cornerback that can play off coverage, press coverage, zone, or man. You know what I mean? So a defensive coordinator won't be limited into any of the schemes that need to be called based on him drafting this rookie cornerback so high, and he has to go out there and play. You know what I mean? So he has really good size, 6'2", 195 pounds. And that's kind of similar to Patrick Surtain II. And that's a great size for a cornerback. And coordinators, defensive coordinators love cornerbacks with size. Press coverage comes very natural to him because of his size and athletic ability. So let's get into it. Let's check out Will Johnson.
Right He's one-on-one coverage. Watch how quickly he breaks right when he sees the foot in the ground from Purdue. He takes off into the coverage. Watch how quickly he breaks right when he sees the foot in the ground from Purdue.
See, this is one of those plays where I'm telling you about cornerback recognizing the 3-step drop and understanding the technique of playing cornerback. This is one of those plays, but there's a difference here, so y'all pay attention. I'm going to break it down for you, right?
He takes off into the coverage.
All right, so you see first right here, number 2, Will Johnson at the top of the screen. His eyes are directly on the man. You're not supposed to start off with your eyes on the man. You're supposed to start off with your eyes on the quarterback. And just because he has his eyes on the man, that is going to leave him susceptible to double moves. Whatever this guy does, he's going to react to it quick. He's not going to have no keys to let him know if the ball is coming or not. When I'm breaking on the ball, the quarterback is giving me the keys. He's letting me know some arm movement. He stopped at his 3-step drop, and boom, I know whether to drive or not. I can see if this is a real route, so on and so forth. So this is one thing that he will get exposed on on the next level if he doesn't work on this immediately.
Watch Watch how quickly he breaks right when he sees the foot in the ground from Purdue.
Great play,
he
though.
takes
Great
off
play.
into the inside and beats the wide receiver to the ball. All Sheffield can do then is become a defensive back and tackle him. And now that's...
Daniel Barker, a tight end in
Got the
motion.
bottom down now.
Out wide for Reed, and he's
Nice
chopped
and
down for
physical.
a loss.
Nice and physical play
An
right
early
there.
enrollee.
Yeah, he made a quick move. There was only one receiver to block. Mosley blocked Sanistrill, but there was nobody to block Will Johnson, and he made a great tackle in the open field.
And now they're way behind the chains. Stroud directing traffic, dumps it off underneath. Caught by Marvin Harrison Jr. Advantage of this great opportunity. 1st and 10 to the 19-yard line. O'Connell will throw a first down, and he sets up the screen. Charlie Jones going nowhere to get into position. Empty backfield. O'Connell under pressure. Finds Jones underneath, and he's just slung down.
Yeah, see that last play by Will Johnson, running across the field, lining this guy up and making the plays. That's not as easy as a play as it looked. And when you get in the NFL, you're gonna have those speedy guys being able to run across the ball, a lot of crossing routes and things like that. So that was Will Johnson right there, man. A couple of plays from Will Johnson. Again, another player that hurt but didn't have a season-ending injury. He just decided not to come back. Will Johnson, he finished the season with 2 interceptions, 3 passes defended, and 2 touchdowns, I think. And week 6 was his last game due to an injury for University of Michigan. So his stats aren't as impressive as you would expect, but this is his junior year. I mean, his junior year, he had 4 interceptions while missing 3 games in his sophomore year. So I think he's a junior right now, you know what I mean? But Will Johnson, man, he's very instinctive. He's a very instinctive cornerback who understands the rhythm, as I was trying to point out, the rhythm of the quarterback, which means he understands when the quarterback is about to release the ball, which gives a cornerback the ability to anticipate a pass. You know what I mean? You can't anticipate a pass off the route. You got to anticipate a pass off the throw. You know what I mean? And this helps, like I said, being able to anticipate, speed. I think Will Johnson has very, very average speed. He's probably like a high 4.4 guy, not a very speedy guy, but the difference is his size makes up for a lack of speed, especially if he's in press coverage. If he's in press coverage and he kind of gets out of position, that size helps him make up for that speed. You know, when you're big and 6'5", you have a 6'2", rather, you have a long wingspan. When you're up in press coverage, the receiver got to go around you. So the longer they take to go around you, you have a better angle to cut them off, you know what I mean, in press coverage. You know what I mean? So that's Will Johnson, University of Michigan. Shout out to Will Johnson. We'll see where he lands. And coming up at number 1, we all know who this is at number 1. Does he need to be introduced? Does he need any announcements? Does he need anything? No, he doesn't. This is Travis Hunter, the GOAT, the college GOAT himself, trying to turn into a GOAT, right, in the NFL. And we don't need many introductions from Travis Hunter, but we're definitely going to.
Quickly out to the right. Big hit is certain.
7 points to send it to the second OT on 1st and goal. It's Richardson. Ball's out. That ball is out. Ball is out. Recovered.
So we know who number 1 is.
And knocked out of the end zone.
And if this call stands, then Colorado wins. This will be a good look. That ball is out.
We already know who number 1 is. We know it's Travis Hunter. He can't be competed with. There's no one in the draft that is on his level. But I must say, Travis Hunter is the man, and I think he will be better cornerback than receiver. And I think a lot of us probably feel the same way, the majority of us, you know what I mean? And he will start his career off at cornerback. There is no doubt about that. And receiver will come as long as he perfect the cornerback play first on the next level. Once his coach see he has that cornerback play down pat, they will be eager to put him out there receiver and give him a chance, you know what I mean? Or on the other hand, if the team drafts him and they're in dire need of some receiver production, then he's going to be out there faster, rather sooner than later, you know what I mean? So That's how that's going to work with Travis Hunter. He's going to start off at cornerback no matter what, and that's how it's going to work, right? So we know Travis Hunter, he can do it all. He could play press coverage, off coverage, zone, whatever you want. He has instincts out of this world. Play cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. You know what I mean? He has tremendous skill set. He has speed. He has a crazy athletic ability. You know what I mean? And that are the traits that a special cornerback needs to be great on the next level. He has everything. He has it all, right? His instinct can't be compared to by any other quarterback in the draft. Maybe his man-to-man skills are a little comparable, but not his instincts. We all know he's most definitely hands down out of all the cornerbacks and not even close. He is the best, and he will be the most productive going into the NFL their rookie season, unless somebody gonna show me different, But Travis Hunter, right? His best attributes as a corner are not just his athletic ability, not just his receiving, his ball skills. That is one of his best attributes, obviously, but it's the way he controls his body when he's a receiver to catch the ball, or when he has to jump for the ball to catch a pass or intercept the ball. The way he controls his body, that is one of his best traits as an athlete. And I can't even say cornerback, because as a wide receiver or a cornerback, he does that very well and on next level. No other defensive back is messing with him right now. But the sky's the limit for Travis Hunter, man, with his capabilities, his personality, and the way he handles himself off the field. This kid is definitely not going to get in no trouble. Anything can happen, but he's one of those kids where you can see that he is straight focused and he is not looking for no foolishness. He wants to be a family man, raise his family, play football, and move on. You know what I mean? But the downside of his game, if any, I have to bring it up, try to find something where everybody can get better, as I would say in the physicality department, which is we all say about all cornerbacks, and for us cornerbacks, it's always difficult for us to have to tackle someone because we're usually the smallest one on the freaking field. You know what I mean? So Travis Hunter will either be a Cleveland Brown or a New England Patriot. Only time will tell, and we will see. You know what I mean? So shout out to the chat. I see T-Dub in the building. Shout out to my day ones. I had to jump on for this quick one right here. You know what I mean? What y'all think about the draft, man? What do y'all think? Do y'all think Shedeur Sanders is going to fall out of the top 10? Y'all answer real quick. Will Shedeur Sanders fall out of the top 10? I don't want that to happen, but everybody is starting to sign these freaking quarterbacks, and not just one quarterback. It's starting to be multiple quarterbacks being signed, and that's not a good sign for Shedeur Sanders. I think Cam Ward will be a lock, either Cleveland Browns or Tennessee Titans, either or, and it's going to be up to a team to want to select Shedeur Sanders. You know what I mean? Y'all talk to me, chat. And Marlon says, no, someone will trade up to get Shedeur Sanders. Who? Talk to me real quick. Who y'all think is willing to trade up to get Shedeur Sanders, right? The Jets? No. The Jets just signed Justin Fields. Is that a possibility? Yeah, it's a possibility. Who else will trade up to Teach Trapper said Tech Trapper said no one will trade up to get Shedeur Sanders. Y'all let me know in the chat how y'all feel. Travis Hunter to go to the Giants. That's a possibility. The Giants have at the number 3 pick. That all depends on who the Browns get, because like I said during this segment, the Browns are highly high. They are very high on Travis Hunter. They are just infatuated with this kid. So you know what that means. But you got to understand, when you come to draft day and everybody's in that room, you sweating it out and you fighting, and you have a system. You might have 15 people in there and everybody has to vote. And it depends on the amount of votes, who's going to pick, who's going to get picked. And that thing get very intense in there in those war rooms. So I don't know, man. We're going to see how that goes. You know what I mean? Pittsburgh. Will Pittsburgh move up to trade for Shedeur Sanders. I do like that. I thought Joe Milton could land and be a Steeler. I thought that would have been a good opportunity, a good thing. But like I said, Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. Y'all could doubt it if y'all want to, but y'all come back to say what needs to be said when he signed and be like, I told you. You know, everybody told you. I ain't trying to act like I had some breaking news or anything like that. It's all good. Marlon say Pittsburgh would be a good fit for Shedeur with Mike Tomlin. Yes, I definitely believe that. What pick does Pittsburgh have though? Pittsburgh is up there in the 25th pick. I mean, I don't see Shedeur Sanders going that far back, but you never know, man. They trade for him. Who knows, man? It's one of those unsettling drafts, and we don't know what's going to happen and who's going to land where. And we just have to wait and see. That's how it goes, man. Commanders, shout out to Commanders in the building. You know, somebody say Gelato Money say he going to the Saints. The Saints got what, the 12th pick? The Saints is a possibility. I definitely think the Saints is a possibility. They just re-signed Derek Carr. Derek Carr's there. He probably got 1 year left. They're probably, starting to look for somebody to replace Derek Carr over there. So yeah, man. Say what needs to be said. Thursday Night Vibes. I had to jump on real quick, man. It was some breaking news. Joe Milton to the Cowboys, and man, when Jerry Jones does anything, man, it kind of just makes us cringe. And like, what is going on with Jerry? Like, where are you, bro? You should be on your $1 billion yacht out there enjoying the Mediterranean Sea or something like that. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So make sure y'all like, comment, and share this live, man. Make sure y'all know Say What Needs to Be Said is the best shit talking show out. You know what I mean? That's what we do. We have fun. We talk some shit and just entertain, inform, and have fun. That's what it's about. Deuce here, Big Deuce in the building. Say what needs to be said. Until next time, I see y'all. We are out of here.